Well, now that you're at the helm and you've taken control of the association, what initiatives are you looking at for the future? What will mark your tenure? I imagine it could be another 20-year, 25-year tenure. What are the projects that you're thinking of launching?
I think in the short term, our goal as a member service organization is to help local government meet the needs of the citizens effectively and affordably and efficiently. So we're going to be doing a lot more training. Talking about ways that they can partner with their neighbors to become more efficient, to save money, to help meet the bottom line, and instead of always turning to dig in the taxpayer's pocket for more money.
Okay. Going back to your conference for a minute, what are some of the top workshops that you're going to have? In other words, what are the major issues? You can't tackle the whole panoply of issues that are out there that townships are involved with, but this particular conference, can you share with us what the main topics under examination will be, Dave? Sure.
I think there's an awful lot of interest, and we'll have a fair amount of activity regarding transportation and transportation funding and maintaining roads through spring and winter maintenance with existing resources. The Marcellus Shale exploration going on in Pennsylvania, the impact that that's having on local governments, both from the transportation infrastructure, but also on a public safety side and environmental quality side, as well as trying to grapple with the new federal regulations from the EPA for the Chesapeake Bay cleanup. I mean, those are all major initiatives, major cost drivers, major mandates that are coming from Washington or Harrisburg without a lot of funding. And we're going to try and do two things. One, help our local governments comply and meet those challenges, but two, look to Washington and Harrisburg to either pony up with some of the dollars for all the programs that they insist on, or offer some relief on some of the programs.
Mm-hmm. Well, we look forward to the day, Dave, when behind the headlines we would maybe in the future we could come in and cover portions of that conference live.
That'd be great.
We would enjoy that very much, and probably learn a lot from your conferences, which I've always heard are so good. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it, and good luck with the conference.
Very good.
And with your trip, and we'll talk to you again
soon. Great. Thank you.
Thanks,
All
Dave.
Right. You bet. Thanks.
We'll be right back with the next segment of Behind the Headlines.
Behind the Headlines is sponsored in part by Connections Academy.
Every kid thinks differently, acts differently, learns differently. Just because traditional school works for most students doesn't mean it works for everyone. Connections Academy is a free online public school from grades K through 12 that specializes in helping kids excel by allowing them to learn their way, their schedule, their pace, their environment. And Connections Academy is fully accredited. Enroll now and your kids can start reaping the benefits of Connections Academy this year.
Behind the Headlines is brought to you as a public service by PAConstructionJobs.com, where you can look for job openings, post a resume, or learn more about a rewarding career in Pennsylvania's highway construction industry. And by the Pennsylvania Business Council, envisioning a commonwealth in which residents enjoy a very high quality of life in sustainable communities. The Council works aggressively to define key long-term policy strategies and solutions that make the Commonwealth more competitive, creating and sustaining a better Pennsylvania. Additional underwriting provided by the Worrell Corporation Foundation, based in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. By Weber Incorporated, a leading manufacturer of hardwood lumber and wood products. The Highway Equipment and Supply Company, Central and Northeast Pennsylvania's authorized distributor for premier construction equipment manufacturers. And the American Home Bank, a nationally chartered and FDIC insured yet locally owned and operated bank in central Pennsylvania. And by the Pennsylvania Manufacturers Association. Business in Pennsylvania is our business. Behind the Headlines is also supported as a public service by Daily Express, transporting construction, farm, and industrial equipment throughout the United States.
Hi, welcome back to the second segment of Behind the Headlines. Now, in this segment, I'm joined by Ed Arnold. Ed, welcome back.
Good to see you, Charlie.
Who's our president for Susquehanna Valley Center, and with another installment of the Arnold Report. And last time, Ed, we talked a little bit about international finance. We've had 2 additional questions come from our viewers. And by the way, we want to ask our viewers that if you send any questions to us, please let us know if it's okay to use your name on the air. If you don't give us that authorization, of course we won't do that. But if you don't mind us using your name on the air and talking to you directly, let us know, and we'll be sure to try to have Mr. Arnold answer your question as well as possible. The first question that we had for this particular installment of the Arnold Report, Ed, was what's happening with the euro? For a long period of time, it appeared as if the euro was going to perhaps be the new reserve currency of the world, and now things have changed. What's happened to the euro?
Well, the euro basically, almost you could say it's divided into 2 groups. The smallest and the largest, of course, is Germany and France, which are relatively fairly stable.
But the euro is the currency for the European Union, for many of the members, but
many
not
of them,
all.
but not all. Not England, as an example. However, there's a group called the pigs. There's a debate whether the pigs have 2 eyes or 1, and it stands for Portugal, Ireland, Italy, if you have 2 eyes, Greece, and Spain. Now, realizing, and how many of you do know this, Ireland is only a country of a little over 4 million people. It really isn't quite that large. And Portugal is 11, and Greece is 11. Spain is a lot larger country at 44 million, and Italy is 60 million. These countries have all extremely overspending governments. And they've had government out of control. And at this particular moment, there is a question whether Germany and France, primarily through the euro, will bail them out.
Well, this is something because it's changed very quickly then, because not so long ago, Ireland was considered to be one of the new young tigers of the European economies. What happened to Ireland?
Ireland basically, first of all, overexpanded. They also did it in their public sector. They got very extremely generous with their public employees, something we have also done. And they basically, things were going to be up forever. Real estate went out of control. Everybody borrowed, a little bit like America, except they were a lot smaller. And because they don't have their own currency, they are a euro country. They couldn't just print money. They had to try to borrow. And obviously, they got into a major imbalance.
Okay, I'm sorry to break in there, but everyone is still under the impression, I think most people are under the impression that Ireland is still booming.
No, Ireland has drastically cut back.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, Ireland is addressing their problems. I read an article that said that there were 7 companies of size that are moving from Spain to Ireland because Ireland still is a relatively productive country where they can manufacture and and compete against the other countries in the euro specifically. Spain, which is totally out of control and has an Obama type government that basically is saying there are no real problems here. We can spend and borrow, and there's nothing we have to worry about. They have indexed their public employees, and I'm not sure all their employees just about, to a general wage increase continually with extremely liberal benefits, and have made this, today Spain is a non-competitive nation. They cannot export into the common market because their cost of manufacturing is so high.
Mm-hmm. Again, that's a big change because the Spanish economy about a decade ago, a little less than a decade ago, was still roaring.
It was roaring actually 2-3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And their argument is we really don't have a problem because our banks didn't get in trouble. But the fact is their real estate market it basically was what was driving them, has pretty much collapsed.
What happened to the euro?
Well, the euro is still a conglomeration of all those things. Well, all of a sudden, if you you start putting all these together, that's a pretty large piece of pie, and Germany and France aren't that strong. So all of a sudden, it's this group of so many, which has of course 400 million people and a very large economy, but an economy that is really struggling.
Mm-hmm.